well, they all have showcase on it. So
That's tonight.
showcase is tonight, so everybody is like very busy trying to finish everything. Okay, YouTube is up. I'm gonna close the door. So we are good when you guys are.
Leanne, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we will take roll.
Okay, is Nick Gordon here?
I'm here.
Okay, and Jake?
Here.
Elizabeth Donahue's here, Leanne's here, Christine's on Zoom, and Pam?
Pam is on the phone.
Okay.
Great. Let the minutes show that a quorum is present. We are going to start, or the agenda is before you. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
All motion.
Do we get a second?
I'll second.
All right. All right, the question is on the approval of the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
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 Great, the agenda has been approved. Next order of business is the review and approval of minutes from our April 9th regular meeting. Did folks have a chance to look at those? All right, great. So the question is on, did people have anything of note, any changes needed?
You know, I saw that I forgot to put Elizabeth's last name, so I'll add her last name too.
Okay, good catch. All right, great. If there's no other changes needed, the question is on the approval of the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
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 Great, the ayes have it. The minutes have been approved. Next up, we will have our committee reports, governance.
You know, I don't have anything new to report. I haven't received a quarterly report. From, can't ever remember his name.
Okay. Is there anyone who still has minute or time to complete?
I think I was the last one and I got it done. So
Amazing. Great job, Jake.
they did send me a note that I was the last one. So that's how I know that.
So Nick,
That's so funny.
okay, so Nick, you finished also?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, Nick was done, I think, as of last time.
Okay.
So is there an extra hour we have to do?
Not until next year.
Next year, okay.
Yeah. All right, great. Well, congratulations, everyone. Very exciting. All right, next up is the financial report for April.
Hi, yes, our finance committee did meet this month and I went over the reports in detail. So I'll just give you guys a snapshot of what we looked at. Overall, our school remains financially stable. We have a strong cash position heading into FY 27. The April month-end bank balance was approximately 1.7 million. Overall revenues, we've received in just over 76% of budgeted revenue, which is right on target for where we want to be at in this point of year. Again, some of our funds are reimbursement based, so there's going to be a little bit of a time delay on those, so we won't receive them until June, July timeframe. So keep you updated on those. As far as our year-to-date expenditures, our budget is 5.44 million. Our actual expenditures are 2.86 million. We have about 780,000 in the remaining encumbrance and available 1.8 million. So again, we're right on track, right on target for our FY 27 projection. Overall, our operational fund remains healthy. No concerns regarding liquidity or cash flow. Our open purchase orders are normal and aligned with our year-end budgeting and planning. We are on track to end the FY 26 budget right within our means. There's no immediate concerns. With that being said, I could talk about our bars that we have before you for approval this month. There are 3 of them. The first bar being bar number 20I. It is an increased bar for your Idea B funds in the amount of $46,819.06. We will be using it towards the salary of a special education teacher and their benefits associated. Again, this is just going to be in line with our budget application. Now, the next bar is bar number 21I. This is an increase to your preschool Idea B funds in the amount of $233.55. We'll be using the funds for special ed supplies and materials. Again, right in line with our application submitted earlier on in the year. Next is bar number 22I, and it is an operational increase of $161,320.42. Our final SEG allocation is what this increase is the result of. It's due to an increase in enrollment of 4 students and the implementation of our fine arts education program. And then the unit value increase, it was a slight increase this year. Again, we will just be using it to align our budget with current expenditures. We are going to spread the funds throughout our operational budget. They'll cover everything from instructional supplies all the way to facility/operating costs. Again, these are all just based off of final allocation. Any questions regarding the financials or the bars?
Okay, great. So if there's no questions, then we will move forward to vote on all of the bars in our consent agenda. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All right, the ayes have it. The bars have all been approved. Alrighty, next order of business is the unified application for FY27.
Yes, so this unified application is a new consolidated application for our federal applications. This is a new requirement by PED just to streamline the process and get all of it on one platform. So we were provided the in detail application as submitted. Overall, all of our different title funds, the budgeting stays the same. Our allocations are in line with last year's. We are going to just primarily use them for the same types of items as we did this year. No significant changes as far as those reports.
Great. Were there any questions about the application? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Motion.
Great, the ayes have it. The unified application has been approved.
Do we need a motion, Christine, or no?
So Leanne's question or
A motion to,
Approve that or no?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because we voted for the whole agenda.
Okay. No, I just repeating the question that was asked. That's fine.
Yeah, thank you.
Put the vote. Thank you.
All right, next order of business is the IDEA B application.
yes, so the application for Idea B is included within the unified application. However, they are requiring that we get a second approval just specifically for this program. Again, the Idea B application is what we use for our special ed services program. We primarily use the funds towards the salary of a special education teacher. As far as policies and procedures for this funding, it remains unchanged from last year. I can answer any questions regarding it, but again, it's pretty much the standard application from the prior years. It's just moved to the new platform. And we provided all the assurances along with the application for your approval.
Great. Any questions before we vote? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, the ayes have it. The IDEA-B application for 27 has been approved. All righty, next up is the school calendar.
Okay, so the school calendar, I think if you were here at the last meeting at the end, I realized that I hadn't passed it out for everybody to just review in the interim. The calendar that's in the packet is, we have, since it's kind of a late approval right now, we've shared a tentative version with our families. So any changes made today, we'll just communicate with our families this afternoon. This calendar meets the requirements for an NPED for budget and instructional hours. There's 1,140.38 instructional hours, which squeaks us over the minimum of 1,140. It includes 181 days total, which is 138 full school days and 39 minimum days between August 10th and May 27th. So we'll have teachers come back and have a week of PD, and then students will start with a week of minimum days, which allows everybody to get kind of reacclimated and the teachers to make any adjustments or changes during that first week of school. We'll have back to school night on the 13th of August. And then our parent conference days, which are typically twice a year, will be in November just before the Thanksgiving break, and then in March just before the spring break. These dates, the vacations and holidays align with APS's days off. Our Thanksgiving break is slightly longer than APS's. I think APS will go the 23rd and 24th for conferences. But we had really good feedback from both families and teachers just about being able to have that full week off in November. So we tried to keep that and we're able to make it work. So the 19th and 20th of November and the 18th and 19th of March will all be remote learning days. So students will also have instructional minutes those days, so that they're not just completely off for those days while the parents have conferences and meetings. So that is our planned calendar. I'm happy to have any questions, but I wanted to make sure we went over those big pieces.
It looked good to me. I didn't see anything weird. All right, any questions before we vote? Okay, all those in favor of the new school year calendar, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, the ayes have it. The new calendar has been approved. Next up, we have salary schedule.
I'm presenting the proposed FY27 salary schedule for your board approval. So as a part of our annual compensation review, our administrative team evaluated our FY26 salary schedule structure and projected revenues for FY27, our employee retention needs, and just overall market competitiveness. With that in mind, the recommendation for FY27 is not a major reconstruction of our salary schedule, but rather an update intended to maintain our competitiveness and support our employee retention. And while maintaining our fiscal responsibility, the proposed FY27 salary schedule does include the 1% salary increase across the schedule. We just approached the compensation planning and conservatively this year, just in light of our FY27 financial outlook. As you'll see in the upcoming budget presentation, we are projecting an approximate decrease of 196,000 for SEG revenue in it. Given that the projected revenue is a decrease, we did not believe it'd be financially responsible to recommend a more aggressive salary schedule increase that could possibly result in long-term, budget strain for future years. Instead, we are recommending a balanced approach, just looking at our three main priorities: First, our employee retention. Second, maintaining a competitive salary schedule. And third is just gonna be that long-term financial sustainability. This proposed salary schedule preserves our current compensation framework, including the step movements for each year of experience, while providing like a modest increase that is financially sustainable within our projected revenue. Overall, we do believe this reflects a balanced and sustainable approach as far as compensation planning for the next few years. Any questions regarding the salary schedule?
As we were trying to recruit and hire people, we looked at APS's salary schedule this past winter, and we were actually below APS by a couple $1,000 in the initial step. And so even though our steps are greater, or were greater in a lot of places, we still weren't, like, we have 2 teachers who are coming next year who are actually taking pay cuts to come and work here, which I think says a lot about like the overall, employee value proposition. But we also know that like people need to make money and they need to be able to pay rent and mortgages and all these things. So we asked Ashley to see how far we could push the salary schedule while still being responsible. And this is kind of where we landed, and we'll keep making sure that we keep an eye on that. But we want to make sure we're paying people in line with their
The surrounding
districts.
area.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, are there any other questions about that? Great. All those in favor, say aye.
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 The ayes have it. The new salary schedule for 27 has been approved. Okay, next up is the 27 budget.
So there's gonna be a theme across the presentation for this year that we are proposing a conservative budget. In response to projected revenue reductions while prioritizing our staff's sustainability, our instructional continuity, and overall operational sustainability. For FY 27, our projected operational revenue is approximately 3.39 million, with a projected SEG revenue of 2.8 million. Compared to FY 26, this represents an estimated operational decrease of 196,000. This reduction is primarily driven by enrollment and then state funding calculations and legislative mandates. So there were 3 bills passed this legislature that are directly impacting our budget. The first being Senate Bill 151, which mandated a 1% cost of living adjustment, so 1% salary increase for all staff. And then the second being House Bill 47, which was the insurance cost share shift. So it now brought the cost share shift to 80-20 versus the 3 different models we had before that, which was an 80-20, a 70-30, and a 60-40 split, depending on salary. And the last being not necessarily bill, but the lack thereof, there is no reoccurring hold harmless fund for at-risk. So the additional funding we received this year, we are not going to receive that again in FY 27. We were already aware of that. We built our FY 26 budget excluding that. So we know we're in a good position. These aren't unexpected changes. In developing this budget, our team intentionally used a conservative assumptions, including we projected our enrollment of 265 students. Again, this is to reduce the risk of mid-year budget cuts. We're actually anticipating enrollment of 280 or greater for the upcoming school year. So we may see a mid-year budget increase. Again, rather than budgeting aggressively, we wanted to ensure the school is positioned to operate sustainably, even if revenues come in slightly below our expectations. As in prior years, the largest portion of our budget remains invested in personnel and benefits, reflecting our priority on maintaining staffing and supporting our employees' compensation. This is included in our salary recommendation presented in the previous, or the prior agenda item. So despite the reduced revenues, we work to preserve our core instructional program, again, sustaining our staffing and providing student services and operational needs. Again, we did carefully review our discretionary expenses such as contracted services, software, operational facility costs, and just brought that in line with our projected revenues. The good news is our school continues to maintain a healthy cash position, which provides us some stability as we enter into FY27. We're going to continue to monitor our enrollment. And again, all those state funding variables that come in here, as you guys are all aware. But overall, this budget, it's balanced, it's conservative, and it's in line with our priorities. So we think it is ready for your approval. If you have any questions regarding the budget, I can answer those. But in true nature, it is a budget of really being strategic, and there's not much room for additional growth as far as supplies and things of that nature. We're having to be careful with that, and we'll continue to monitor it throughout the year.
Let me go.
Are there things that you were like, that you had to cut that were like?
So we have made like some
or-
strategic decisions, like
Mhm.
maybe we run our program to ensure that we're using less of contracted services and more utilizing our staff for some things, some instructional needs. And possibly looking at shifting from different software providers to find cheaper alternatives. Yes, we definitely had to keep that in mind when building this budget this year.
One of the things that we're looking at is the statewide student information system planning that they're doing. So PED wants everybody to move from their own individual information systems, like we use PowerSchool for enrollment, for attendance, for all of that information, special education. They have contracted with Synergy. And so the state is paying for Synergy for all LEAs that opt into that. It's like a major transition. It would be a lot of work to do that. And so this year we bumped up our consulting services with the group that we use to do all of our state reporting, to start to explore that process and see whether or not it makes sense. I think the deadline is September 30th for us to opt into that process. So that, but on the back end, it's going to save us $30,000 to $40,000. So
yeah,
it's kind of like, and I don't know which way we're gonna, like, if you're also betting that the funding is gonna be there in perpetuity. So if we're moving to a system that is, like, I don't know anything really about Synergy or how they've updated it. So that's some of the exploration that we're gonna do this year. And the thing that Ashley mentioned is we're looking at we have teachers who are staffed and licensed to do enrichment. And so using them more as part, like a broader FTE instead of a part-time FTE, a larger FTE to do some of the enrichment versus having another contractor come in to supplement that. So we're just looking at scheduling to make sure that we're thinking about all of those options. But there were not places where we're like, well, we're not going to be able to afford X, we have to get rid of it.
Yeah.
It just has been really like, okay, here's the inputs. It's at 265 kids. Looking at the enrollment plans for next year, which right now we are at 280. I have heard a couple of like little birdies say that like kids here and there might be moving schools, but we'll fill those spots. And then we've also been talking about, is it going to be smarter to ramp up enrollment further and enroll more kids so that more dollars are coming in, because that would actually also allow us to staff a little bit more solidly in the office and the administration. Leadership team to kind of absorb some of this like lift.
Mhm.
So those are the inputs that we're wrestling with too. But right now, I mean, it is, especially when we account for a plus 15 student count, I mean, that's a significant amount. So we don't feel like we need to cut, we just need to look at the inputs.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's an additional 100,000+ that we could see with the increase in enrollment later on in the year. Again, we just wanted to be conservative when building this budget, just in case those don't happen, but we do have the wait list to back it.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Last piece that I do want to mention is that we did meet last month with our equity committee to go over this budget, and we got their feedback and did implement it within this budget, so we did get that kind of feedback.
Nice. Great. Are there any other questions or comments before we vote? All right, the question is on the approval of the 27 budget. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All right, the ayes have it. The budget has been approved. Next up is a discussion about the, oh, we don't have anything actually for me. We don't have any compliance.
I'll leave it, I'll forget it next time.
No, yeah, we had so many other agenda items. I think that's
Yeah.
perfect. So the next discussion is the PEC request to update the performance framework. We've been using the 22 version, and the request is that we use the 24 version instead. So Megan, I'll let you talk about that.
Yeah, so I have still not gotten any written communication about this. I got last week a phone call from Rebecca Burt, who's the vice chair of the PEC, was the chair last year. And she said that the PEC is working on streamlining all of their processes. They have 14 schools that are still on the 2022 framework. And so they're asking those schools to, it was 7 or 14, they're asking those schools to consider moving earlier to the 2024 framework. So our renewal comes up in 2028. We would change at that point anyway. I included both frameworks in here. We don't have to decide anything right now, but I wanted to put it on there so that you guys you can look at it, you can consider. I put both frameworks, and then Christine actually had chat go through and compare them. So I did put that analysis in there as well. I think the high level takeaway, at least for me having looked at it, is that there are some specific places in the new framework that are there's some places that are more specific. Like there is an indicator where you have to have a certain amount of cash on hand, which for a lot of new schools is hard. For us, it's not hard to meet that metric, but it's just something that I wanted to flag. But otherwise, I think all of the components are pretty straightforward. There is a little bit more wiggle room, I think, either on the PEC end or on the school end. In some places, specifically the checklist that we have started using, there is an indicator that says that the school is meeting all the requirements on the checklist. So PED makes the checklist. And so that's the place where any changes would happen and things that we would have to make sure that we keep on top of. So just something to consider. And we'll put it, Becca said that they were going to ask, Commissioner Burt asked us to approve not this month, but next month. If we were going to do that, they would need a board resolution saying that we would move to that. So just something to consider, and I'm sure we can talk more kind of throughout the next month about what folks' thoughts are individually over the phone, or and then more robust discussion in the meeting next month. But that's the gist of the ask.
Great. Any questions about that one? Hey, Lisa.
Hi.
Okay, next up is Equity Council report.
We've had 2 equity council meetings in the last little while. We had one that Ashley just talked about, where we had
We heard about that one because it was, I think,
Coming to
right
the budget.
before.
Great.
Yeah.
And then we had one last week, which kind of like the year wrap up. And I actually thought the meeting was really good. We did at least organize a SWOT analysis of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. And so everybody kind of reflected on what they saw at the school, what, pluses and deltas basically. And from that came a couple of really good suggestions. And so we're gonna meet with a smaller group of that group tomorrow to kind of talk about some of their thoughts on getting parents more equipped to participate in school activities or proposed school activities in a way that doesn't put more of a burden on the school administrative team and kind of allows parents to take on some more of that role. So we will keep you all posted with that. It was a really solutions oriented meeting. It was really cool. So
It's a great team.
yeah.
That's great.
And then I'll do it very quick because I know we're at 9:31, but we don't have state assessment data yet. We have Amira data, which show in our dashboard about a 5 to 7, depending on the subject % growth between beginning of year to end of year. There's a lot of fluctuation. If you look at the dashboard in the ELA Amira, there's a lot of up and down school wide. So I'm not sure if that's a trend that other schools have seen or how that's going to kind of play out with our accountability framework. But I think it shows that our kids are doing pretty well. They're learning to read. They're reading. And then similar math, I think had some really strong growth. So that was good. And we'll get our results over the summer for our NAMASA internal results for the NAMASA assessment. We did have our ELA or ELL or English language learner results come in, and we had 11 English learners assessed this year. And of those 11, 6 of them actually met the criteria to exit. So they showed English proficiency really, really well, which is 54%, which is a really crazy high reclassification rate. So we're excited about how well those kids did, which is cool. And then we're wrapping up the last day of schools next Friday. We have our showcase tonight, 5:30 to 7:15. And then next week we have carnival on Wednesday, Top Golf field trip for 5th grade on Friday, and then we'll do our 5th grade clap out at noon on Friday as they leave and go off to middle school. So busy month.
Nice. I'm sending you guys there was an Albuquerque Journal article about Amira.
I read that one.
Yeah, because it was saying that a lot of people are saying that it's inconsistent or not matching what they think the student's ability is. So
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. So we're gonna change our assessment approach for next year to make sure we have some actionable reports.
Yeah.
I think that's
Any other questions before we motion to adjourn? Great. All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
All motion.
I'll second.
All right. Great. All those in favor?
Hi.
Hi.
Right. Meeting adjourned at 9:34.